Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the J22 Report. I am your host, Johnnie Market. Y'all know that drill. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and just remember the disclaimer. Nothing on this channel or video should be construed as financial investment advice. These are just my opinions, thoughts on the markets. Uh, Consult a financial professional advisor. Before anything, someone had a comment. I didn't know if it was a trap or not, so I did delete it. I'm not a financial advisor. These are just my opinions, thoughts on the markets. Disclaimer below. You can read it below. So anyway, let's get into today's stuff. I'm actually going to be, my family's coming back from Poland, so I'll probably be doing less videos. Not because I want to do less videos, but because I sort of have to. But one of the things I want to talk about is just the political correctness of the gold community, just ignoring who the big buyers are, because heaven forbid Western is the driver. So I'm gonna, if you want to watch a gold channel that's not politically correct and it's not going to spew the China and India story, no matter how untrue it is. Here it is. Reports reveals that countries that bought the most gold in 2025, Poland leads. Score one for Poland. I am a big proponent of precious metals. Uh, I'm actually going to get into my philosophy on bullion ownership and why I think everyone should have some, in my opinion, not financial advice. I actually will be a little different because I'm moving across the country. But so not across the country, I'll be moving across the world in a year. So anyway, driven by economic and political uncertainty, whatever. So let's see. So reveals Poland, the largest net buyer of gold in 2025, acquiring 82.7 tons. It's not China, it's not India, it's Poland. And you know why they're buying gold? They have been under USSR rule. They know a problem when they see it. And they were under Nazi Germany before. They know problems when they see it. They are running to gold. So there it is. Other countries, Kazakhstan added 41 tons, and Brazil. Brazil. How many in the gold community talk about Brazil? Score one for Brazil. I know it has its problems, but they are doing one thing smart. So there it is. Those are your biggest buyers. It's not China and India. Such nonsense. So Poland, largest net buyer in 2025. There you go. Now, Turkey and China continued buying at a much smaller scale. So Turkey and China are buying, but they are not. And look at this. Everyone talks about Asia, but here it is. Singapore has sold the most gold this year. And then, everyone say they take profits or whatever. We don't even know how much they're really buying. That's number one. Number two, all we hear about is they buy. So, and then if you actually look at this, who owns the most gold on a per capita basis? Switzerland. 3.37 ounces per resident. They own the most gold. So it's really the West that buys gold. It's not really the East, regardless of the stories you hear. Regardless of the stories you hear about all these, where it's rebel capitalist or Peter Schiff or whoever, it's just whatever those sort of libertarian-esque channels where it's the Austrian school, they're just politically correct and they don't really want to. They're ashamed if it's a Western, probably. And so here it is, Poland, right here, largest net buyer of gold, and the largest owner on a per capita basis, Switzerland. So there we go. I remember when I dated a Chinese person, they were like, "Yeah, we used to buy gold," but they're like, "Yeah, we buy Chinese lady." Uh, but they're like, "We buy land now," and that was like in 2015. So I found this is interesting because this isn't like Mises or whatever. This is the AARP. Uh, Medicare and Social Security face funding challenges, raising concern for futures retirees' financial security. Retiring before 65 create health insurance gap until Medicare. Uh, so just looking at look at this. Survivors Trust Fund is scheduled to provide benefits only until 2033. That's not that far away. It's about 8 years, maybe even seven. At that time, funds reserves will become depleted and continuing program income will be sufficient to pay 77% of the scheduled benefits. Social Security Administration. Not Zero Hedge, not Mises. This is the AARP. So there it is. Yeah. And I do think, I don't know what's going to happen. I think they're just going to print money. It's a sensitive subject. I think it's more complex than, oh yeah, we need to cut it because we're broke. But a lot of people that age, they really can't work. And I mean, you're not going to just throw them out on the street. So I mean, this is above my pay grade. I'm not getting paid to solve this problem. I could probably come up with solutions easily if I'm paid, but I'm not paid to solve the problem. So I'm not going to think about it. Uh, so, but it is something, I was actually looking at things here and I was trying to find things to talk about. I just want to do another video. There's a couple other things I'm gonna do, but I thought something came across interesting here. And sometimes I do this, and other times I do not. But this is what I found, and I think this shows how bad the economy is. Why workers in their 40s are going back to school. These are like millennials, and I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. What is the most educated generation in America? Millennials. They're the most educated. These are generally, and this shows how bad the economy is that a lot of them have to go back to school at 40 to get a job. And these are people that are in careers. Now they say tough job market, threat of AI, or leading to some radical career changes. And they don't have the article. But yeah, if you're able to go to school, you get discounts on stuff. Maybe you get a loan that can pay, that gives you money to survive. I don't know exactly. But this just goes how shut. And the problem isn't lack of education or it's not even lack of skills. What it is we have a horrible economy, we have bad leaders, and I'm not talking about public, I'm talking about even in private sector. We did not allow the economy to reset in '08. We need to allow it to reset. We need deflation, not inflation. There's a lot of other things, but that's the problem. No one really wants to train anymore. I'm considered in my area a do-it-yourselfer, a roll up your sleeves and get it done. And the main reason is because I'm rarely ever trained. And luckily, I'm good at figuring things out. I'm not even that smart of a guy. But most people are not like that. Very few. And part of it was, I think I was learning disabled. And so I had to find ways to learn because conventional learning did not work for me. So I really had to find patterns, theories, things that could stick. I think my learning disabilities really helped me overcome that. And I don't think most people, and now I would not, I don't think anyone should have to go through what I had to go through in school. I having to study 4 to 5 hours more than everyone else to get the same grades. Oh. And not only that, when you have family, kids, and all that, and not only that, a society needs people to have families and grow. And I think just inviting the world is a big mistake. If there's not enough Americans to do it, maybe that industry doesn't belong. Or I wouldn't even say it doesn't belong. Train them. If you're an owner of a company, you should know how to do everything. When I lead people, I never blame them for not learning something. I take it on as a personal challenge. And during World War II, we took housewives who had no work experience and they were able to build stuff. We can easily take, historically, you can easily take people who have no skills and make them skilled. This we don't have skills thing is ridiculous. The way we built ships and industry, while all the work, when the whole workforce went to fight a war with housewives who've never worked before, shows you don't need skilled workers to be great. It's just, I know the tech AI and first of all, AI is subsidized, but it's not even real. So anyway, this just article bursted of blood, and I think it shows how bad the economy is. Whether you agree with what I said before or not, that's fine. You don't have to agree with it. You're probably wrong, but there's possibility I'm wrong. But anyway, more than 9 million borrowers miss student loan payments as delinquency rises. And this is one thing that kept asset prices up, is that they just ignored student loan payments. If you own a home, you should actually be for student loan forgiveness, because now more and more people can afford homes and buyer demand would come up. So if you actually owned a home, you should actually be for. If you're one of those older people, like, no, they should not get borrowed, well, fine. Enjoy your home equity being evaporated or eviscerated. Uh, so I think sort of I've never had a student loan before. I don't want to get into forgiveness or not. I'm for it. I've never had it, but it was a con job, and these were predatory loans. And no, I don't think if all these other generations get these generous Social Security, Medicare benefits, everything, they can get their government loans forgiven. So I'm also against usury. So yeah, get rid of usury. So more than 9 million U.S. student loan holders have missed at least one payment this year. Delinquencies in the 1.7 trillion market are soaring. That's all I need to know. And going back to housing, I thought this was interesting, but let's read the propaganda. Housing affordability may improve next year, but don't expect a crash. You can tell the elites are getting nervous because now they're saying, oh, don't expect a crash. Don't expect this crash. Who are they trying to convince, us or themselves? I think they're trying. So lower mortgage rates, slower home appreciation should make buying a little easier. They're already conceding. It's been a dismal year to be a home buyer, but in 2026, so they say mortgage rates and home price appreciation slowing down. But look at this. Home sales plunged to 2023 levels, not seen since the mid 1990s. So the decline has not been seen. So look at this. What often comes to mind is events like the global financial crisis, which sent U.S. home prices down 27% between 2006 and 2012. They said that's not on deck for 2026, which we'll see. I mean, it might not be on for 2026. I think it will come soon. Could be 2027 and 2028. So I might actually end up buying a home in Poland and it crashes. So I might end up being on the other end. So yeah, when I talk junk about home prices crashing, I'll probably be buying a home somewhere overseas, and it's possible that crashes soon after I buy it. So I'll be living there forever. But anyway, remember when I say it, it's not a personal malice. That's why I'm telling you this story. It's not out of personal malice or anything. I'm an analyst and I do things. And not only that, I'll be buying probably all cash, so I'll have money for other things. So, well, it's possible. The only thing I'm buying right now, I'll get to that. Well, it's possible home prices fall slightly on average. Few housing experts expect to crash because the country has a shortage of homes, which is not true. Inventory rates are really rising, but they say most likely lower mortgage and slow. So many economists forecast only modest home gains of 1 to 3%. More homes, I've been following this, are losing value than gaining value. Uh, so what home prices are falling in some markets, and particularly Southeast and the Mountain West. So they are even conceding. Uh, so so yeah, you can tell. And look at this. We'll just go below. I don't know really. Is it 2026 crashing? Like I already know they're gonna say no. Uh, Look at this. That said, next year won't be without a share of hurdles. Home prices are expected to soften in some markets. I'm just looking at this, but so yeah, even with demand cooling, we're not massively overbuilding like '08 in a lot of markets. Still not enough homes. So yeah, obviously not a bubble. So I mean, this is the mainstream. Who are they really? Are they trying to convince me and you, or are they trying to convince themselves by writing this? I don't know. You can answer. I think they're trying to convince themselves more so than they are trying to convince me, you, and the rest of the people. So anyway, I'm going to get back. I'm going to get into gold and my thoughts on gold bullion. And I was just thinking about this. First of all, I was going to do a video on the S&P versus the gold. And they used to say stocks are better. There have been times. And now what they're saying is over the long run, because of dividends reinvested and gold doesn't pay a yield, the S&P is better, but in terms of appreciation, which goes to show they're starting to concede that gold is about as good of an investment as stocks. But I thought when they talked about total returns, I was like, well, are they taking fees as an expense? Because ETFs and mutual funds have big fees. And they do. So I'm actually happy to see that. I thought they didn't, and I was going to do a video, and I'm like, they don't do expense fees, but they have an expense ratio on ETFs, and of course they cherry pick because most people own stocks in their 401k, and that's by mutual funds. So I think when you compare gold against stocks, until you can get ETFs on your 401k, which I've had 401ks, I've gotten rid of them, but uh, I have to pay taxes and ordinary income taxes, and then I have to pay early withdrawal. But I mean, enough of my stuff. But it's disingenuous because most people they own mutual funds and they own stocks in their 401ks, and their broker does mutual funds. So I don't think comparing it to ETF fees is actually. I think they should compare it to mutual fund fees. But let me see. Gold versus mutual funds. I just want to see something. So let me see this. I'm trying to find this. So yeah, you cannot. Yeah, they don't say it. I used to be able to find how stocks are way better than gold, but don't find that anymore. But I'm glad they do that. In terms of owning bullion, I think everyone should own bullion. I mean, I'll probably end up selling mine, and then I'm gonna when I get acquainted in my new country next year, I'll be buying again. And the main reason is I do think a point's gonna come in this market where your choice will be, jumping in a land, jumping in a den filled with tigers. And if you don't know about tigers, I read a lot. I read a lot about a lot of different things. Tigers are very territorial. They're actually the real, king of the jungle. Lions are actually on the plains. They're in the plains. They're not really in the people. The animal that's actually in the jungle is actually the tiger. And they're very territorial. They're alone. They're alone animals. Lions are actually very social. But there's actually been things where they've introduced like a replica tiger, same size, looks real. They put it in there, and then at night it came back and it was mauled. It was like literally like parts of it were. If I can, let me see if I can actually get something. Can this coin be? Yeah, it's like parts of it were like the size of this coin, and this was like the biggest part of it after dealing with the tiger. It's going to be jumping in the den with tigers, which is going to get you killed. Jumping in the jumping in the ocean and having to swim 3 miles in shark infested waters. Or it's going to be jumping into a room for walking across 6 rooms with an group of angry house cat felines that and there's no litter, but they've been locked in for days. And all the options stink, but only one of them you're going to survive, and that's the house cats. I have a cat, that's why I used a cat. But yeah, that's the only one where you're going to survive. You may get scratched up a little bit. You may really smell because of all the, but you're going to survive. And coming to the markets, I think there will be a time like that. It will either be gold, which does, if you hold it in your home and just have it in your closet, it doesn't really, it's not really any expensive. I don't pay any fees. I don't pay any storage fees. I bought a safe and I lock it in there. And it's actually a portable safe where I can just pick it up and carry it. With all that bullion, it's pretty heavy. But yeah, and not only that, it's liquid. You can sell it. It won't lose purchasing power. It'll lose value, but you won't lose purchasing power. It'll be that gold, or you can keep cash in a bank. Well, guess what? The banks will go under. I think that banking crisis will start next decade. I don't think it'll start this decade. Remember, nothing should be construed as financial investment advice. This is just my opinions, thoughts, and I'm thinking out loud. You can buy stocks, but remember, companies go bankrupt and you can lose everything. Dividends get cut in bear markets. You can buy debt instruments, treasuries, securities, and corporate debt, but remember, people default on debt. They go bankrupt. That debt's worthless. You lose your fixed income. You can buy homes. Look at the housing market now. People are delisting, massive delisting. People can't sell them. And not only that, not only you can't sell, but you have home insurance, property taxes, all that in expense. And I think there will be at some point in the market where that will be this will be trying to think of other options. You can go emerging markets, but I think they'll have similar problems. And a lot of the economy is interconnected, so gold will be your best bet, and you'll still come out of it with value with wealth. And so that's why I think in my opinion, I'm moving across the world basically soon. So I'm trying to get rid of a lot of things, but I will definitely, once I get settled, I'll always have some sort of portion to gold. And I think everyone, as long as you're in a stable economic, like it's a good idea to own gold, even if you think this is the top. Just significantly do what I'm doing. Like, I mean, not I'm not giving advice, but this is what I'm doing. I'm just slowly selling as it appreciates, reducing my exposure. So anyway, that's why I think the gold is the most important, and everyone should own some because I do think, in my opinion, not financial investing, there will be a time. And by the way, if you make any decisions on this video, don't do it. Make sure every decision is yours. I fully say that. Number two, I can be wrong, so don't just keep that in mind. I can be wrong. And number three, always consult financial advisors, do your own research. I'm just some guy on YouTube. So, anyway, those are my thoughts on the markets. Yeah, remember the disclaimer. I'm not financial advice, and I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm really not. I'm doing this just for entertainment, fun. I'm doing it for entertainment, fun. It helps me myself accountable to what I want to do with my money. The other thing is about saving. I always say try find creative ways of saving. I had a big jar and I just threw pennies in it, and just threw pennies in it, and then the jar broke. And so keeping it all together, and I threw quarters and dimes and nickels. And this morning I made a $27 deposit based on all these coins into the bank. And I actually had to go in. I called the banks to make sure I could actually do the deposit because they can't. And so this one credit union had a coin machine. And I would just throw the coins in, and I actually broke it because I threw in $1 coins. And it was funny. I threw them in and like it broke. And so I had to go get somebody, and they took it out. They're like, yeah, that doesn't accept these coins. So I was like, can I deposit? They're like, yeah. Just can't use them here. So I started dumping all these coins in, and ended up being 24 something. And I had three $1 coins. And so I would print it. It was actually had this cool thing to print. I printed it, and then I gave them the three $1 coins. And so, I mean, it's not great or anything, but it's a tank of gas. Uh, it's always good to have some. So, I mean, I always say try to save because it's a mindset, it's a habit, and just you never know how much those little things add up. I don't really want to sound like uh, save a penny, earn a penny, or whatnot, because I know how bad things are right now. But what I'm trying to say is just try your best, and even if it's like a little, very little, don't beat yourself up, and don't be like these people. They say 5 to 10 or 15. That's impossible. You don't have to do that. You don't have to. Just try your best and see if you can increase the amount of it you can save as time goes on. And that's my opinion. So many people do not try to be like somebody else. This is the message. This is one message of me. Do not try to be like when you're investing or trading, don't try to be like Warren Buffett. Do not try to be like uh Peter Lynch, one up on Wall Street. I mean, read, study, and learn and take what you agree with them. But be yourself and do not try to measure yourself with anyone else or any podcast, including this one. Don't try to measure yourself to what I do or whatnot. Like, how many of you are moving halfway across the world? Probably not many. Um, you know, be yourself and set goals that are within reason to yourself, and that's what I'd say. And in my opinion, save. And if you have a lot of bills and a lot of struggle and you can only save $2, great. Save those $2 and just try to get better and just try to improve each time. I've lost a lot of money investing. I've done, I've been at times where I couldn't save. My wife lost her job. I had to leave my job to take a pay cut, and the main reason I left was because honestly, I was at was in Big Four accounting, and I had to. They wanted me to sell my mining stocks, and I was like, "See ya." And I'm glad I didn't because the mining stocks have exploded. Uh, so anyway, that's all. Just don't measure yourself against anyone. When you hear about saving, they're like, you should be saving 20 or 20. I remember Porter Stansberry saying, like, you should save half your income. Like, yeah, yeah. What, like, you don't have to be like that. Just improve, look at what you have now, find little ways to improve, and just keep going. Go at your own pace. There's no problem with that. And if you can't save, just try to get to the point where you can. So, and do your best. I mean, life's tough. It's tough for a lot of people. So don't beat yourself up on if you have struggles. So, anyway, I'm somewhat rambling, but I feel like this type of message is not heard enough online. And I feel like people do need to hear it. So, anyway, remember, not financial investment advice. Read the disclaimers. I'll see you next video.